So, in New Hampshire, it looks as though the race is just around the corner, and the favorite to become governor there, Kelly Ayotte, is really locking in. She's really locking in about how she wants to keep New Hampshire on a good path. And her message, I 100% endorse. I endorse her message 100% as a Massachusetts resident, born and raised, when I see the absolute mess that Maura Healey and Kim Driscoll, aka Moron Healey and Kim Dumbass, have brought to Massachusetts, and the embarrassment that they have brought to this state, making the state a complete and utter fucking embarrassment. Yeah, of course I endorse her, but here's what I'm saying. Kelly is there. Kelly is fire, and it looks like she is really locking in. Like it's coming up, everybody. In 2 months from now, the people of New Hampshire are going to go to the polls and decide what path do they want. I'll tell you what, the path that this state is on down here, yeah, I'll tell you, for New Hampshire and for the rest of the country, well, except if you're solid blue shitholes like fucking New York and New Jersey and so on, and slowly what this state is turning into, I can tell you, Kelly Ayotte's path is definitely the better path to go down. What's up, everybody? So, welcome to another episode of the Massachusetts Report, where I talk about Moron Healey and Kim Dumbass's record of failure, particularly in the wake of Kelly Ayotte in New Hampshire, really locking in, and she's winning people left, right, and she's winning with people left, right, and center. And I saw her last night. I saw her another one of those debates that she was on, and again, once again, she knocked it out of the park. Her opponent, Chuck Morse, really isn't a good debater. He really doesn't have that many good strategies. He isn't the one who's the example. Now, to be fair, anyone is going to be better than Joyce Craig. Just look at what Joyce Craig did to the city of Manchester, New Hampshire, for example. Just look at them and look at what Democratic Party politicians do with everything that they touch. Look at what they do. And no, I am not saying this because I favor Republicans all of a sudden. No, I am an independent, as everybody knows. But as an independent, I look at something from different angles and I form an opinion. That is how it's always been since the history of ever. And ever since I've been alive on this earth and got into politics when I was in high school. So being an independent, that's what it comes down to. So why do I favor Kelly Ayotte? Why do I favor her? Well, because I look at her record, I look at what she's saying, and every damn thing she's saying is true. Because of the fact that every single thing that she's saying is true. And I'm telling you, what we're missing in Massachusetts, especially, is we are missing bipartisanship. What we are missing is we are missing that, because the average person here, like we're really fed up with politics and fed up with the way shit is on Beacon Hill, and we're just fed up with this sanctuary state status that is killing our economy. It's just a complete and utter mess, and sanctuary states shouldn't even be legal. It should be outlawed. You should not be a sanctuary state or sanctuary city. It's not going to work, and it's impossible. It's impossible to achieve, and it shouldn't even be achieved, because what do you see? You see a complete and utter disaster. You see a humanitarian crisis as a result of it that is being forced onto the taxpayers. So, again, that's not me being against immigration. I mean, no. I don't even know why. Well, why do I even have to explain this? It's like in this climate with this political correct bullshit, it's like I have to explain this type of stuff. I'm always sitting here and I'm always having to explain this stuff, and it's getting ridiculous. But I mean, I don't care. Like I said, I'm an independent. I form an opinion. If I see someone that I think is good for the job, I'm gonna vote. I'm gonna support them. It doesn't matter whatever. It's like If they're good on something, then why don't we? If they're good on things, if they have a good track record, then why don't we say, you know what, this person is the right one for the job? And you know what? Kelly Ayotte is obviously the right one for the job. She is. And everyone's like, spare me. Don't get offended. Don't get offended by what she's saying about. Don't get offended by what she's saying about Massachusetts. No, don't, because she's right about every damn thing she says. If you're paying attention, you wouldn't be offended. You would think, wow, she's 100% right about the fact that we don't want New Hampshire to become what Massachusetts is becoming under Maura Healey. Because they don't. Because they look at that, and I live here, and I see it for myself. I literally see it for myself. And also, guess what? My fucking wallet also sees it as well. Gee, wonder. My fucking wallet sees it as well. Yeah, for the simple reason of the fact that this state is off track and it's heading in the wrong direction. And rather than just sitting back and acting like this is normal, acting like this is acceptable, no, I'm not going to sit here and take it. No, I'm going to throw my support behind Kelly Ayotte calling out Maura Healey's record of failure. I'm going to come back. I'm going to come out here and I'm going to defend it, no matter how popular or unpopular it is, because it's just a fact. Because it is literally a fact. It is literally a fact of the matter that Maura Healey's record is a failed record. It is a failed record. It is a failed record of businesses being lost, jobs being lost, more spending, and record local tax increases and sanctuary state status. That's what it is. You can't sit here and say that you're going to cut taxes and that you're going to spend less money and that you're going to commit to this, and I'm not going to commit to this, but I might do this, and you're not going to do this and that. Well, we've seen that, and because we have seen her record. And anybody living in this state, anybody who has read news about this jackass's record, Moron Healey's record, then you would see that you would literally see that her record is a failure. Her record as a leader is a failure. She's not a leader. She's a pathetic excuse for a leader. And Maura Healey is the worst thing that has ever happened to Massachusetts. She is the absolute worst thing that has ever happened to this state. She is the absolute worst. Kelly Ayotte's not bad. Kelly's doing great. I stand by her all the way. And if I lived in New Hampshire, I would vote for her in a heartbeat. Funny, because my friends up in New Hampshire are voting for her. Almost everybody I see banners all around New Hampshire every time I go up there and everything. You know, look, the term "don't mass up New Hampshire" really means something. It's textbook definition of "don't Maura Healey up New Hampshire" is what it means. What "don't mass up New Hampshire" literally means is "don't Maura Healey up New Hampshire" is what it means. And who can blame them for feeling that way? I certainly don't blame them. In fact, I want to demorify fucking Massachusetts. That's what I want to do. Because no, I think we should kick her the fuck out. I think we should fucking impeach her, then go after fucking Kim dumbass and go after every single one of their administration, every single member of that administration, kick them out of fucking office with no pay, no pension, and be banned from ever holding office a fucking again. That's what should happen. If you preside over the failed record that Maura Healey does, bankrupting the state with sanctuary state status and the biggest local tax hikes in history, and supporting a bill that would give Massachusetts cities and towns the authority to impose some of the biggest local tax hikes in history, then yeah, that person is unqualified for office. You can't sit there and say that you're going to cut taxes and that, oh, I've cut taxes and everything, when over the past year and a half, you have pushed record high local taxes. As if we don't have taxes that are high enough in this state, as if we don't have tax rates well, they were reasonable up until, they were fairly okay. They were always kind of on the higher side, but ever since Maura Healey's gotten in office, oh, it's gotten 50 times worse. And spare me with the whole, she gave tax cuts or whatever else. Yeah, I was in favor of that in the beginning until I really looked more deep down into it. And guess what? My wallet didn't benefit. I didn't get no tax cut. You know why? Because most of Maura Healey's so-called tax policies are benefiting the wealthy, and they're hurting people at the lower end of the income scale the most. Oh, that's right. That there's not any more wealthy people, because guess what? More wealthy people in Massachusetts with that millionaire stack, they're not going to stay here. They're going to end up getting up and leaving. That's what's going to happen. You can't sit there and say that you're going to cut taxes when you have presided over record local tax hikes, and most of those tax hikes have hurt people at the lower end of the income scale the most. Look, I'm talking about the fact that what should we do to make Massachusetts a better place? What I would do is I would roll back as many of Maura Healey's local tax hikes as possible, and I would roll that millionaire's tax as far back as possible because it's all killing our state, our business climate, our tax climate. Everything is in deterioration because of Maura Healey's record of failure, and the sanctuary state policies that she has implemented is making it even worse. That's the reality. And like I said, almost 90% of people in Massachusetts think taxes are too high. It's one of the primary reasons why I throw my support behind Kelly Ayotte in New Hampshire against Maura Healey. So yeah, it's a way to fight against Maura Healey. It is literally a strategy. It is literally a strategy that I use to get behind. And I get behind that 100%. And I'll throw my support behind anyone that gets up against Maura Healey and will win. And will get her out of friggin' office. Because that is what I will do. There is nothing good about this record. 3,200 small businesses, 5,000 jobs, gone. Unemployment has doubled under Maura Healey since she took office. I mean that's just a fact. It literally has doubled. Wants higher taxes on meals and on hotels and everything. I mean, you've seen the proof. I've literally showed you proof. You can literally look it up. Maura Healey local tax hike bill. Literally, go look it up and you will see it. I mean, the proof is literally right there. That's what she wants. That is literally what she wants, and that's what has been happening. And that is exactly what has been happening. And everything that she says is nonsense. Every single thing that she says about everybody else is nonsense because she's trying to distract away from her record of failure in Massachusetts, and now she's bankrupting the state, and people are really suffering in this state. The average person is suffering in this state, and people can't take it anymore, and that's what's happening because Maura Healey's policies are a failure. People are suffering in this state. They just can't take it anymore, and that's the reason why people are so fed up. Oh, she wants tax cuts and tax reform. Well, why didn't you do it? Why didn't you do it? You're presiding over some of the biggest local tax hikes in history. Why are you sitting over here and presiding over some of the most destructive sanctuary policies that this state has ever seen in the history of ever? So why haven't you done that? Why hasn't Maura Healey done anything about it? There is literally a one-party supermajority on Beacon Hill. Maura Healey could do anything she wants, but she won't because she's a joke. She's a failed joke. She's a failure of a leader, and her record of failure is going to bankrupt what we have left of this state if we do not get serious and get this joke out of office. It's all funny, it's all fun and games and everything. Except I live in this state. That's the difference. That's the difference here. It might be all fun and games until we see the results. I mean, I go around, I joke around, I do all this and that, but the stuff that goes on with Maura Healey, no, I don't take it lightly because it is such a catastrophe. Because she is raining down a catastrophe. She is raining down a catastrophe over this state is what she's doing. So that's why I support Kelly Ayotte. Don't Mass Up New Hampshire means something. It literally means don't Maura Healey up New Hampshire. That's what it means. That's exactly what it means. And nobody can blame them. Nobody can blame them. I certainly don't blame them. I certainly do not blame them one bit. I mean, who could blame them? This state is an embarrassment now. This state is a joke. This state has so much potential, and it's just being frayed and eroded by these terrible policies and these terrible politicians, these corrupt, tax-hungry Democrat politicians. I'm sick and tired of it. I am fed up. I am fed up. And I'm not happy with the direction that the state is in. And I've said it before, and I'll say it, because I am not happy with the direction that this state is in. There's nothing good about it unless you're just a brain dead fucking idiot and you're not paying attention. No, Maura Healey needs to be put in her fucking place. And Kelly Ayotte needs to put Maura Healey in her fucking place. Like, could you imagine if there was like some convention for like governors and Kelly Ayotte literally confronted Maura Healey face to face and called her out for her record of failure? Could you imagine? Could you imagine how amazing that is? Could you imagine how amazing that would be? So this is it. Kelly Ayotte makes final pitch for New Hampshire governor, and she did. I mean, she made a similar one, but we all know. But we all know exactly what it is. Shit needs to change. I mean, this stuff going on with her was funny in the beginning, but I'm just fed up with it, man. I am so fed up with it. I am literally at my wit's end with it. Like, I am pissed. Okay? Because I am pissed about it. I don't care. I'll take on Maura Healey's record of failure any day of the week. I will. I will absolutely take on her record. I absolutely will. And throw my support behind Kelly Ayotte. I will. I will do it. I do not care. That, again, as I've said before, that doesn't mean I'm favoring Republicans. It doesn't mean I'm going to favor this one over that one. I'm not. That means nothing, man. That means nothing. And you can't throw that in my face unless you've got some type of fucking bullshit in your mind. And the thing is, this is the good thing to do. This is the thing to do. I mean, if you truly love a place that you call home, if you really love a place that you call home, you would be out there and you would be speaking out. You would be out there and you'd be speaking out. When you see a place that you love, a state that you live in, to see a state, a country, or whatever that you see off track and heading in the wrong direction, wouldn't you think that the appropriate thing would be to stand up and try to do something about it? Wouldn't you think that that would be the responsible thing to do if you actually love a place that you call home and everything? That's exactly right, because Massachusetts is home to me. It is home. This is where I've been born. This is where I've been born and raised. I've been born and raised here my whole life. Like, this is a state that I love. This is the state that I've been born and raised in. And to see it so off track economically and politically, and to see it heading in such a bad direction, pisses me off. It really pisses me off to see these destructive tax policies and sanctuary state policies and anti-business attitudes that's making businesses choose not to invest in our state now less and less, which is going to shrink the middle class at a faster rate than I've ever seen in my entire lifetime, my entire 28 years of being on this earth. Because that's what's going to happen. And this millionaire's tax, again, as I've said before, it is so easy to hit $1 million. It is so easy to hit $1 million. I don't understand what is so hard to understand about that. Like this is not going to go the way that people think it's going to go. It's not going to. It's going to bankrupt this state, and it's going to make our business climate hostile. Remember, most states in New England are doing better. New Hampshire has a triple surplus in their budgets. The former governor, Chris Sununu, well, he's still technically the governor, but he's going to be not in office after this term, and that's why Kelly Ayotte is running. He balanced budgets in the row with no new taxes. He's better. I mean, even Maine with a Democrat, I don't even know how Maine is doing, but I can't imagine Maine is doing worse than Massachusetts is right now. I can't imagine that they're doing as bad as we are in this state. I can't imagine just how the things are there. Folks, what Maura Healey is doing to Massachusetts is unacceptable. We deserve better than this. We as a state deserve better than this. Maura Healey doesn't want to talk about her record of failure. That's why she's going around, palling around with Kamala Harris, going around, palling around with Joe Biden, bitching and moaning that they're fucking Trump derangements and bitching about Trump all day long. You know why? Because she's going to use it as a distraction. That's what it is. She doesn't want to talk about her record of failure being in office. Look, here's a fact for you. Here's another fact for you. Let's look at spending increase. $57 billion plan. That is already, okay, that right there. She signs a budget bill that goes to $57 billion. An increase of $1 billion. A $38.1 million increase. 3%. A 3% increase from a year before. We've already seen a 5% increase in the budget since she took office. She is increasing spending at a rate faster than probably half the country. That's what she's doing. She is increasing spending more than almost any other governor has in the history of this state, and more than almost anybody in the entire U.S. That's what's going on. New Hampshire is spending less money. Maine is spending less money. Oh, all the other states on the East Coast, they're all spending less money. States in the Midwest are spending less money. Massachusetts spending more money, good money, and throwing good money after bad, and throwing money at more problems, at this and that, and everything else. That's what it is. Maura Healey raised record local taxes is what she's doing, and sanctuary policies that are destroying this state. And we all remember last time when she said, I'm not going to commit to anything. I'm not going to commit to local taxes. You know when she said that? 2.5 years ago in the last election. Her and Kim Driscoll said exactly the same thing. And then she presides over record local taxes. Look, we have to look at Maura Healey's record. You can't sit there and say that you're going to cut spending and that you're going to do tax reform when you presided over record local tax hikes. You can't say that you're going to spend less when you have spent 5% more than your predecessor in the first year in office. You cannot sit there and say that we want people in Massachusetts to stay here when we've lost 3,200 businesses and 5,000 jobs in your first year in office. You can't sit there and say all of this stuff. You can't sit there and say all that stuff. You know why? Because it doesn't exist. Because your record of goodness doesn't exist. Your record is a record of failure. That's what it is. Your record is a record of losing. Your record is a record of being a loser. That's what your record is. And your record is an embarrassment. Your record, Governor Healey, is an embarrassment. I don't even want to call you governor because you're an embarrassment to this state. You're an embarrassment to the state. You're the biggest embarrassment that I've ever seen in my life. You're the biggest embarrassment to this state that I have ever seen in my life. And then you want even more spending. You want something like $9 billion in new spending, with more of your record local taxes that are going to crush the middle class, which you've already done in this state. You have crushed the middle class more than anybody has ever done in recent memory. So you can't sit there and say that you want to do all these things and all these good things when your record local taxes on hotels and meals and motor vehicles and so on and so forth, the biggest local tax hikes in history. No, you're not. Your record of failure in Massachusetts has run its course. It's permeating everything that was good about this state. Our business climate is in disarray. Most states in most states in New England, New Hampshire included, especially New Hampshire, is doing better than Massachusetts. We're not doing good. We're 46 out of 50 states in terms of tax climate. So what does that tell you? Because that millionaire's tax that you pushed, an 80% increase in the income tax, a 4% surtax on higher earners, has plunged our state's tax climate rankings to 46 out of 50 states. That's your record. And then you want record local taxes to pay for all your new spending. We have to get Beacon Hill off our backs and out of our pockets. We have to grow this economy with the money that we have, with no more new taxes. We need to trim spending. We need to shrink this government, stop it from being so friggin' bureaucratic, repeal this sanctuary state status, and turn this thing around and make this state into a state that we can all look up to and be proud of. New Hampshire's got their leader. They've got their leader, Kelly Ayotte, right there, on the forefront of calling out Maura Healey's record of failure. We've got it right there. Right there, we've got it. Right there, we've got it. Right there, New Hampshire's got it. It's time for us. We had it with Charlie Baker in office. We had a 7-digit surplus, like $1 billion surplus, and Maura Healey is just completely squandering that, just eroding that, and then increasing spending by 5%, just 3% just in this year alone. She wants $9 billion more dollars in new spending with more local taxes. That's going to cost the average Massachusetts household $8,450 to $8,500, or say $8,575, or somewhere in that range, somewhere in the $8,400, $8,500 range. And that's before all her sanctuary state policies. We have to turn this thing around. We cannot continue in the same direction, because I don't like the direction Massachusetts is in. New Hampshire's doing just the complete opposite of what Massachusetts is doing. Kelly Ayotte is running on the forefront. I support her 100%. I salute her. I stand by her all the way, man. I support her all the way. New Hampshire has great local control over where their tax dollars go, and then it's going into things that are good. That's what we should have done. That's what we should have done in this state, rather than wasting $1 billion on sanctuary state policies. That's what we should have done. Chris Sununu is throwing his support behind Kelly Ayotte. You know why? Because Maura Healey pissed off Chris Sununu earlier this year with that whole toll border dispute, trying to put tolls on New Hampshire's borders, and pissed all of them off. And then what does she do? She tries to wag the finger at New Hampshire not to become like Florida. You see what I mean? It's like, do these people hear themselves? And Chris Sununu told her to fuck off. He told her literally to piss off. He's like, you're gonna brag about cutting taxes? Like, that's like me eating a salad. That's what he said at the New England Council breakfast back in April. 100%, a great retort against her record of failure. So Maura Healey is pissed off Chris Sununu. Kelly Ayotte is calling out her record of failure. So really, well, who does Maura Healey have left for alliances in this country? Who does she have? Oh, nobody, except for Democrat partisans like Joyce Craig, who's not going to win. So, what does that tell you? Maura Healey has burned her bridges with other leaders, with other governors, with other states and everything. And then that's what it is. That is an embarrassment. That is a complete and utter embarrassment, and it's a joke to this state. It's got to change. And something has to change. And it's time for us to take this state back, to take this Commonwealth back, and make Massachusetts into a state that we can all live in and be proud of. I want this state to be a place where my fellow young people 18, 34, everybody, families can grow and retire in, and can work in and make a living and be proud of, and all that stuff. Raise a family and afford to retire. Because people don't like the direction that the state is heading in. And that's why they're so concerned about it, and that's why they're looking to go in a different direction. And that's why Massachusetts needs to go in a different direction. The state is off track and it's in the wrong direction. And I want to just turn that around completely. Because we want a better Massachusetts for all Bay Staters, including myself. And that's what I want. And we do that by telling Maura Healey and Kim Dumbass, go away. Don't let the door hit you in the ass. That needs to be said. Now, not later, now. Well, that's pretty much all I have to say for right now. So, I'm going to have dinner, take a quick shower before my stream. My stream will be coming out soon, so for that, other stuff in the works. Stay tuned for more stuff on the way. I will see you guys in a little bit, and more videos coming your way soon. Until then, we'll see y'all in a little bit. Keep fighting, keep on rocking, keep up the good fight. Stay safe, stay well, stay classy. And I can only hope that someday we can turn Massachusetts around and make it into a better state that we can all look up to and be proud of. And the only way we can do it is if we wake up and stand up and rise to the occasion and get these morons out of office. Kelly Ayotte for governor. Yeah. Go New Hampshire. I salute you. To my neighbors to the north, I salute you. To the assholes on Beacon Hill, I condemn. To everyone else, see you all soon and in the next one. Peace and so long.